Hello, it's Sunday and you're very welcome to The Big Magazine, your weekly digest from Big News. I'm Lee Bannister and over the next hour we'll be taking a nice relaxed look around our area. Whether you're in Birmingham, Solihull, the Black Country, settle down, maybe have a cup of tea and enjoy our Sunday ride. Yes, welcome to your Sunday edition of The Big Magazine. Now in a few moments we're going to cross to the news desk for a look back with Lois over the week in Big News. A little later on, Des and Gary will be with us to look at what's on for Sunday. Carl will take time out from the big picture to let us know what's happening in the world of film. I'll be sitting down with Natalie to see what's up on this week's community notice board, and this week's Charity Focus will be finding out more about a local charity. Tom Wilkinson from Doorstep History will drop in to give us another history lesson for the coming week, and I'll round things off with a route around the good old big centre postbag. Oh, and there's another chance to see our special tribute to Reg Grundy. So that's all to come within the pages of Sunday's Big Magazine.
Thanks, Lee. Well, one of the biggest problems currently facing health officials up and down the country is that of antimicrobial resistance. It's when microorganisms like bacteria, fungi and viruses are able to withstand the attack by medicines like antibiotics, making them ineffective. This can pose an even bigger issue for staff when treating hospital patients, especially with open wounds, as the risk of infection is higher. Now, new research carried out at Birmingham's Queen Elizabeth Hospital may be the key to fighting hospital infections without the use of antibiotics. Norshi Patel has been speaking to a microbiologist to find out all about this blue technology.
Now, people have known that ultraviolet light can get rid of bacteria and treat infections, but unfortunately the problem is that that is also quite toxic to human cells. It wouldn't be very well good as a treatment. And the idea came up to look at other wavelengths of light, and we've been particularly at the moment focusing on blue light and looking to see what it does to lots of bacteria that cause wound infections in a laboratory setting. So we look at the activity of the blue light against bacteria when they're stuck to surfaces. And the exciting finding is that it is very effective and is able to prevent them sticking and also to kill them.
And Beryl, is there research like this being conducted anywhere else?
Well, people have used blue light, particularly to think about decontaminating surfaces, but our idea is actually to use it on patients' wounds themselves, and that's a little bit novel.
Why do you think bacteria or bugs are becoming more resistant to antibiotics?
Well, we've had antibiotics for about 60 years, and from the very beginning, as soon as each one has been introduced, we've seen resistance developing. The bacteria multiply very, very quickly, so they're able to mutate or actually exchange genetic material between each other. And as soon as you put the pressure of antibiotics there, that is going to happen. The problem now is we are using a lot of antibiotics in people, in animals, in the environment, in many cases without enough control. And this is really speeding up the process.
If this form of treatment is proved to be a success, how long do you think it will be until it's implemented in a hospital like this?
Well, of course, the next stages are some more laboratory work and then some clinical trials. So we are talking perhaps some years before it's actually being routinely used, partly because there isn't a device, if you like, as yet. So we'd have to work with partners to develop something that would deliver it to the patients. But there are lots of really exciting alternatives. Could it be in dressings? Could it be delivered just as a quick blast of the light? Lots of exciting ways to move forward.
Budding young chefs from across England have been at University College Birmingham to take part in the Young Seafood Chef of the Year competition. The students are just a short way from completing their courses, so this competition is a great way to showcase their skills.
The competition was created about 17 years ago, and it's created by industry around the Grimsby region. It is actually owned by Grimsby Institute, but we have been a big supporter of it for years. I myself am a judge, have been for the past 12, 13 years on this, and it's really to encourage the students that are out there in catering colleges to come forward and test their skills. So each round of the cooking that they've been doing today has a different skill, so it'll be a knife set skills or a cooking skill, so each fish conjures up another skill for them to learn.
Where did the idea for the competition come from?
I think originally from Grimsby industry, around where all the fisheries are, some of the processors and manufacturers and the colleges got together to basically say, how can we educate these young chefs in more seafood skills? And I think it started in Grimsby, and it's now a nationwide competition. It grows year on year. We change the skills year on year, or we tweak them and update them. So yeah, it's a very educational competition for the youngsters.
How does it help them?
Well, these guys within 2 years will all be out there in industry, we hope, in restaurants and hotels, and they need these skills to promote seafood. Seafood does have a skill, as does butchery. But obviously they're learning all the time, and that's what we want them to do, educate them.
How did the teams get on today?
Brilliantly, really good. I mean, to just get this far is great. They've got through the first round, this is the second round, this is Heat 1 in Birmingham. We then go on to do a heat in Wales and a heat in Scotland, and then the finals are in June in Grimsby. So these guys have all done a fantastic job today. Really, really proud of them.
And they all cook using the same fish. Was there a variety of ways that they were used?
Yeah, what we do at the beginning is we give them a list of seafood that they can use. So they haven't all had to use the same fish. There's been a range of cod, hake, Dover sole, we've had prawns, and so they choose which fish they want to use in which course. So they could all create the same dish, but actually with a different fish in each one. So it's up to them to show us what they can do.
What's the next step for those who progress on to the next level?
Well, 3 teams today, out of the 7 that have competed, will go forward to the finals in June in Grimsby, and they will compete against the regional finalists from the Scottish heat and the regional finalists from the Welsh heat. So they will all go forward, and that is the big day on June the 10th, where we find out who our winners are.
And the 3 winning teams were Birmingham's own, with the other 2 finalists from Westminster. Next, we have a blast from the past. It's courtesy of Queen Mary's Grammar School in Walsall, as the pupils put down their pencils and pick up the percussion. I caught the school skiffle group at their rehearsal.
Oh, my old man,
It's not what you expect to hear when you walk into a modern-day classroom, but at Queen Mary's Grammar in Walsall, there's nostalgia in the air as music from Lonnie Donegan makes a comeback.
Well, Lonnie Donegan is, in this country, known as the King of Skiffle, which is simple music. You don't have to be talented. You can rattle a washboard, you can twang a tea-chest bass. It's simple instruments, simple music, and it's about people enjoying it. It doesn't matter if you play a wrong chord, a wrong note. It's about enjoyment.
The school's skiffle group was set up 4 years ago, and it's what's on the menu every Thursday lunchtime. The group boasts pianists, violinists and clarinetists, but it's not just for the experienced musicians.
I can't really play any instruments, but I can play a clicky thing and I like being involved.
I think really one of the big parts is the brutal simplicity of the music. Some of them just 3 chords, and it's great to have such simple music that everybody enjoys.
Skiffle music dates back to the early 20th century, but it's more commonly known from the 1950s with music from Lonnie Donegan. And with the use of homemade and improvised instruments, it's music in its rawest form.
The whole basis of skiffle music is people that weren't really able to afford guitars and really expensive instruments like that. So they used to take what they had at home and form instruments on them. So that the washboard is just literally what they use to wash clothes. So this is a broom handle, and they'll use probably sometimes they use a wash tub, otherwise it's just been a box, and it's screwed together, and so you pull it tight and you pluck it for the sound.
It's a kazoo. It's basically, you kind of sing into it and it just goes like that. It usually takes the tune.
It's a banjo ukulele, so it's a ukulele with a banjo head.
What have we got here?
We've got a washboard. It's one of the original skiffle instruments. So I think the other one's a guitar and a bass, which is over there at the moment. So yeah, you just scratch along with a thimble.
The group head out across the region playing at local care and nursing homes, shelter units and schools, sharing their music with the local community.
I really enjoy seeing how happy and delighted the people are to hear the music that they grew up listening to again, performed by younger people.
It's nice that, because we go to a lot of old people's homes, it's nice to see this little flicker of happiness because they remember all these songs and they're smiling and tapping along, and it's really a nice feeling to know that we've given them something, even a small thing that's really brightened up their day.
As a music genre of yesteryear, it's not commonly played in schools, and Paul believes their school group are one of a kind.
I do not know of any other school in the country that has a skiffle group, and certainly if there is any, or are any, I'd be surprised if they're as big as ours, because the traditional skiffle group is just guitar, tea-chest bass, washboard. So yes, I'd like to claim that certainly in the West Midlands we're the only school with the skiffle group, maybe in the country. It'd be interesting, that's a challenge to put out there.
And with so many gigs just around the corner, I should probably leave them to it. Lois Swinnerton for Big News in Warsaw. Now then, I imagine you've heard of a pub crawl before, but how about a sketch crawl? Well, it's basically the same, just without the drinking. A group of artists from the Black Country have come together to create a new art exhibition at Dudley Canal Trust. But what's so special about it? Roshni Patel found out.
What started out as a small community of urban sketchers in America 9 years ago has now become a global phenomenon. It's reached the likes of Singapore, India, Brazil, and now we can even add the Black Country to that list.
I was with a friend of mine, Sue Pitt, and we went along to Birmingham Urban Sketchers because there was this article in the Leisure Painter that said, you just turn up with a pen, pad, whatever, any medium, and sketch. And we thought it was a really good idea, so we went along and we did that, enjoyed it so much, and then we said, well, there's not a Black Country Urban Sketchers, so we'll form one, and we did.
Here at the Dudley Canal Trust, around 20 artists all took to their sketchbooks to create what we can see hanging on this wall. The sketch crawl, as they call it, was all on location and even saw some artists clamber down into the tunnels and caverns. But there's more to this art than meets the eye.
We did it over 2 visits because we did this. We did a different section of the canal, and it's also about putting history on the map again. The Canal Trust do, but it's about emphasising the history, having a pride in the history of where you come from, of your heritage. So there's so much tied into it, but for me...
It's also about discovering different places as well, and sketching things that people wouldn't think of sketching. We've sketched derelict buildings and things that people just wouldn't even think of sketching.
This is the artist's 3rd exhibition since 2014. Over the years, the group has got bigger, but I'm told that it's not the strength in numbers which makes them great, it's the people.
It is brilliant because the thing for me, the reason why we set it up is it's more about community. It's not about skill. It's not about outdoing everybody. People in the group, we've got professional artists. We've got, like Lindsay says, people who haven't sketched since they left school, and these people get together and they sort of feed off each other. They're so supportive, particularly the professional artists are so supportive, and they're so generous with their knowledge, with their encouragement, and that's what I love about the group. It's just another fantastic way to get a community of people just to come together.
That's the biggest push we'll use, yeah.
So having made its way to all corners of the globe, it seems as though urban sketchers haven't only just found a new home here in the Black Country, but a family where local artists have been brought together. This is Roshni Patel for Big News in Dudley.
And while Roshni was at the portal, she discovered that a campaign to combat loneliness in Dudley is also underway. It's being done through a new Chit Chat Cafe club, and it offers residents a warm welcome and a chance to break out of isolation. Roshni spoke to the activities officer.
We're really keen, now we have our new visitor centre, to engage with the community and to kind of feed back a bit into the community. So we were really keen to do something to combat loneliness in the local area. It's just a really informal club run by our volunteers, our really friendly team of volunteers, and it's a space where you can come, just meet new people, have a chat, buy some cake and a drink if you want to, and just get out and meet new people.
How important is it, do you think, to tackle loneliness within Dudley?
Well, it's extremely important because, I mean, these people, they're isolated, they're hard to reach. You don't necessarily know that they're out there without contact with other people. So it's great that we've now finally got this space where if you want to, you can come, there's no obligation, you don't have to come every week.
Sorry, would you say there was a demand for an initiative like this here in Dudley?
Definitely, yeah. So we have contacts with Dementia Awareness and Dementia UK and those kinds of organisations. And although they run clubs themselves, they're always saying that their service users are looking for other things to do in the area. So to have something like this here, just another place that people can go if they need that help, is great, really.
And if you want to pop along to one of the club's sessions, they're being run every Tuesday between 10 a.m. and noon.
Welcome back. It's the Big Magazine with you for a Sunday here on Big Centre. Now, still to come, Carl will be here with the film news. Natalie will join me for a look at the community notice board. We'll see who's featured in this week's Charity Focus. Tom Wilkinson will be looking ahead to next week in history, and I'll grab what's in the postbag. That's all to come later in the show. But first, let's find out what's on for Sunday, and so let's dig up Des and Gary.
The Flying Teapot events are back with their monthly fair at Sarehole Mill. If you have never been to Sarehole Mill, then it's worth a go. Take the kids, it's a brilliant place. This is Birmingham's historic working water mill that is famous for its association with the Lord of the Rings and its author J.R. Tolkien. Set in picturesque grounds, it mills flour every Sunday. I never knew that.
No, I didn't
know. I didn't know it still worked.
And there's also a mini music festival with lots to see, hear and do for the family. It's free entry. In the courtyard is an acoustic music show with several local bands performing from 12 noon till 4, and the headline act this week is the excellent Lost Notes. Alongside the music is a licensed bar selling award-winning beers from Weatheroak Hill Microbrewery, and there's also a selection of street food vendors. Finally, on Coalbank Road, there's a local producers market, food, arts and crafts made by the traders themselves. That sounds like a great day out to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's
going on. Get fed and watered.
Yeah.
And
watch a bit of music.
And buy a tea cosy.
Yeah.
At WS10 Conference and Banqueting Centre in Wednesbury, stand-up comedian and star of The Chase, Paul Sinha, stars in the return of the comedy hamper.
You heard of him?
No. Probably if I saw him again. I'm hopeless with names. If I see people's faces,
yeah.
That is. But
well, he's been on that show called The Chase quite a lot. And
I've never seen that.
No, neither have I. There you go. Gigs tonight. Mike Peters is at the O2 Academy 3 with his band The Alarm. Remember them? 68 Guns, I think, was their big hit. Yeah. Singer Francis plays the Glee. The New Alex Theatre has Stephen Triffitt in Frankly Sinatra. He's rated as one of the Frank Sinatra. Tom Robinson is at the Artrix. Wow. The Glenn Miller Orchestra are at the Palace Theatre in Redditch. Brilliant. And starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain invade the Town Hall.
Oh, no.
And what I've done is I've put a little mix of some of the acts who are all on tonight, starting with the Ukulele Orchestra's version of Wuthering Heights. But before that, say goodbye.
I'm standing by the lamppost. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Out on the winding, windy moors, we'd roll and fall in green. You had a temper like my jealousy, too hot, too greedy. How could you leave me when I needed to possess you? I hated you, but I loved you.
And of course, Des and Gary will be back here on Big Centre with a look at what's on for the rest of the coming week tonight at 7:30, as well as during big news in the week.
Hello, my name is Mark Birchall. Determination is rarely found nowadays amongst many people, yet it is perhaps one of the most important traits that separate those that are just getting by from those who are truly remarkable. People that place great value on determination refuse to retreat in the face of setbacks, opposition, and disappointments. Determination is the willingness to give it all you've got when you feel at times like throwing in the towel. A person with determination will do whatever it takes to overcome the obstacles in his path and to rise above its challenges. Life is often a struggle. But in every battle, your mental outlook will be the key to your success or the key to your failure. The person with mental toughness, resolve, and willpower will be the person that eventually will triumph. I have found that in my own life, that when I'm facing the most severe opposition and disappointment, that I actually thrive in the face of it and push through with greater determination. Michael Jordan, the legendary basketball player, said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games, and 26 times I've been trusted to take the winning shot, and I missed. I failed over and over again in my life, but that is why I've succeeded," he said. What he was saying was that he'd bounced back every time he'd failed, and through sheer determination, kept going forward until he succeeded. I remember many years ago, just after becoming the pastor of the church, that an older and wiser man spoke to me about leadership. And this is what he said: "The first thing you need to remember, Mark, is that you're going to have to be mentally strong." I didn't think his words were at all spiritual at that time and dismissed them as of no use to me whatsoever. Now, all these years later, I realize he was right. When Moses was 120 years old and was passing on the baton of leadership to the younger guy, Joshua, time after time he told him in the Bible to be strong, and then very strong, and then finally he said in the book of Deuteronomy, be strong and be courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you, and he will never forsake you. Do you feel like quitting today? Be strong and be determined to carry on. Your future depends on it. Until next time, take care.
Right then, do you like a trip to the pictures? Well, let's see what's on offer this week. From our movie magazine, The Big Picture, here's Carl with the best seat in-house.
Well, it's that time of week now where we take a look at some of the big movies showing at West Midlands cinemas right now. And there's no fewer than 5 new releases to take a look at this week. It seems to me that barely a week goes by these days without a new animated movie. And this week's offering is Angry Birds. And they've certainly come a long way since their days as an annoyingly addictive smartphone game. Angry Birds the movie is ridiculous, but I think that's part of its charm because it's sort of supposed to be. Here's one of the hapless characters being flung around and totally out of control.
You, what's your name? Hal? I've seen you do something strange before, right?
Let's see, I'm really
Doesn't
good
matter.
at
Launch him. Oh, this guy looks good.
He's gonna make it.
This is incredible. We're witnessing history right now.
Nope. Hey, he's coming back. He's coming down. Get down.
Did we win?
No, not quite yet, buddy. We're still tied. Hey, can we get an ice pack for Hal?
As you can see there, Angry Birds is contrived, it's quirky, it's certainly colourful, and it's full of funny little fellas. Angry Birds are now being catapulted into a cinema near you. Now then, let's hope the producers are right with the title of this next film, because it's called Everybody Wants Some. It's all about a group of college baseball players who are trying to navigate their way through the freedoms and responsibilities of unsupervised adulthood. If you like the idea of hanging out with 12 college-age guys for the best part of 2 hours, then I think you'll probably enjoy that one. It's a decent mix of naughtiness and a dose of nostalgia as well. But here's my favourite new film of this week. It's called Green Room, and it follows the trials and tribulations of a punk band who have to fight for their lives when a group of thugs lay siege to the bar they've been playing in and they stumble across a dead body. There's genuine tension, there's suspense all the way through this story, and for my money, you can't beat a good siege movie, and Green Room is most definitely a good siege movie. So that's 3 down and 2 to go. Also new this week is Our Kind of Traitor. This one's based on the John le Carré novel about a couple who are lured into a Russian defection plan and end up finding themselves in a world where no one can be trusted. There's a decent cast in this one, including Ewan McGregor, Damian Lewis, and Miss Moneypenny herself, Naomi Harris. Let's have a look at a clip of a fairly tense interrogation scene.
I said I didn't want my wife involved.
I'm sorry, would you like to wait outside?
Involved in what?
I brought something over for Dima.
What?
I don't know.
Perhaps you'd like to sit down. I have some questions. Not tough, medium soft. Is this all he gave you?
Yeah.
Didn't offer you any money?
Oh, he did, but I refused.
Then why did you bring it?
I thought it was the right thing to do. He said that his children would be killed if I didn't.
You believed him?
He seemed scared.
He told you he was a member of the Russian mafia. And you still agreed to help him. You haven't checked the contents of the memory stick.
No, I thought I could just hand it over and be done with it. I thought that would be it, you know?
Well, do you believe him? You know what John le Carré stories are like, you're never quite sure, and this one simmers along nicely. Also new this week is Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. This is a film where Tina Fey plays a journalist recounting her time in Afghanistan in a film that's got dark comedy at its heart. Does it always hit the mark? Not quite sure. Now, let's finish this week by taking a look at the current West Midlands box office charts. Down to number 10 this week, the social media shocker Friend Request. At 9, we see Bollywood Time Machine Adventure 24. At 8, Idris Elba causing chaos in Paris in Bastille Day. At 7, the animated adventure Zootropolis. At number 6, the war thriller Eye in the Sky with Helen Mirren. At number 5, another animated movie, Robinson Crusoe. At 4, the feel-good but sound-bad opera singer Florence Foster Jenkins. At 3, the comedy sequel Bad Neighbours 2. Still at number 2 is The Jungle Book, and holding its place at number 1, Captain America: Civil War.
Thanks, Carl. OK, we're going to take a short break now, but when we come back, Natalie will join me for the community notice board. Then we'll see who's the subject of this week's charity focus. As ever, I'll be delving into the Big Centre Postbag too, and another chance to see our tribute to Reg Grundy. See you in a few minutes. OK, now it's time for our charity focus, and if you know of a charity that would benefit from some good local exposure on the telly, then please do get in touch. I'll tell you how later on in the show. Here's Taffy.
With over 20 charity shops across the West Midlands, this week's charity focus is Compton Hospice Care. Join me today as I talk to a few of the wonderful people that made this charity such a success. Welcome to Charity Focus. I'm Tafadzwa Bashir. Come on, let's go in. just outside Wolverhampton in Codsall, in a village in the South Staffordshire region, is one of these great charity shops that raises money for the hospice through public donations.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. Nice to see.
Good.
Dalma Thornton, a volunteer for 4 years, was looking for something to occupy her time after losing her father, explains why the Compton Hospice is an important part of the community.
Not everybody has a family, you know, and they can be there at home on their own, wondering what can they do, how can they get help. They don't like to ask, and they've nobody to turn to, and it's just so important to get somebody to go around and see what their needs are, put a smile on their face. It's so lovely, you know. You just feel that you're doing something really worthwhile by doing that. But I don't think you need any particular qualifications. It's just, what do you want from it? Sometimes it's people just like to come for the company. Sometimes people like enjoy the work, having contact with other people and conversation and what they're doing in their little way to help the hospice and help those needy people that, you know, they're so grateful for what they get or receive from it, you know, the home care, the palliative care, the day for their families, the carers, that they get a little bit of a break from caring for their loved ones, you know. So I think we have a really nice atmosphere in here, and it's friendly, and it's just enjoyable. It makes my day coming in here for the day, so, yeah.
So I decided to travel to Wolverhampton to see exactly just how all the donations and money raised in the shops contribute to actual care at the centre.
Compton Hospice provides care and support for those who've been diagnosed with a terminal illness. So we provide medical care in terms of having a fantastic team of doctors and nurses who offer support with medication or pain relief or symptom control, through to emotional support, just having somebody to talk to and interact with. We have something we offer called complementary therapy care, so we can offer people things like Reiki, aromatherapy, massage, anything really that's kind of going to help somebody to deal with the fact that they've been told that their illness is terminal. We want people to understand that Compton Hospice isn't just the last stop. We can provide care and support from the moment that a person's illness has been diagnosed as terminal. So in some cases that could be months, in some cases that can be years, and we're trying to change the misconception that Compton Hospice is the last stop, because people can receive care for a lot sooner and can benefit from talking to people, talking to professionals, talking to patients who are in similar scenarios, and we want people to understand that the sooner they come to us, the more life they have left to live.
Every day I come here, I feel good.
So why do you come here?
Well, just look around, the people, nurses, the angels there. They look after me and they're great, every one of them.
When I came first, I was rather pleasantly surprised, because to me all I heard of was hospice. It's a last chance saloon sort of business, but it's anything but that.
What is it to you?
Oh, it's fantastic. Fantastic, yeah. I didn't really want to come, and then I haven't been once, so I don't mind coming every day.
So to everybody else that you're talking about that thinks, you know, it's the one last stop, what would you say to them today?
I would say to them, you know, even if your time is limited anyhow, to come here, because you make the most of the rest of your life anyhow.
With an ethos of life before death, Compton Hospice is truly a remarkable place.
People come to Compton Hospice and receive the care from us to live the rest of their lives as opposed to waiting to die.
For more information, please do get in touch.
And thanks to Taffy Mushipe for this week's Charity Focus. We'll be looking at another local charity at the same time next week. So if you want to nominate a charity to be featured, do stay tuned for our contact details later on in the show. Now it's time for a history lesson, and joining me again for a look at what happened during next week but in years gone by, from Doorstep History, it's Tom Wilkinson. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Lee.
Welcome back. Doesn't seem like 5 minutes, does it, since yesterday? So what's coming up next week?
Next week, on May the 16th,
1568.
Yes.
Mary Queen of Scots flees to England.
Did she?
Yes.
Why?
Because of a stormy relationship.
Oh, we're hearing no more.
Yeah.
It's like a soap opera, isn't it, in the Middle Ages?
Yeah, especially the royals.
Well, yeah.
In 1920, Joan of Arc was canonised as a saint.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, considering they weren't too keen on her back in her day.
Funny how opinions change, isn't it, over time? There you go.
1929, the first Academy Awards are held.
Ah, the old Oscars.
Yeah.
Did they have the Oscar right in the beginning?
Yeah, the little. Obviously, they've changed the little man's changed shape over the.
Well, he's got bigger, I think, hasn't he? As well?
Yeah.
He's got a little bit taller. Yeah, I'd love one of those.
Yeah.
I've got a pretend one at home.
I have as well.
Have you?
I've got world's best son.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from?
Bought it myself.
Did you? Okay.
May the 18th, 1565, the Siege of Malta, where the Ottomans tried to invade Malta and take it from the Knights of St John.
Okay, that's a famous story. We've got an Ottoman at home. People have bedclothes in it.
Vicious those sofas are.
Nice.
Yeah, the furthest west the Ottoman Empire have tried to invade. And now modern day Turkey.
Oh, right, okay.
1804, Napoleon Bonaparte became Emperor of the French.
Emperor of the French?
Emperor of the French, not the French.
I know what you mean, I'm sure you did as well.
May 19th, Anne Boleyn, second wife of Henry VIII, was executed.
Oh dear. Oh, another one gone.
Another one. Same charges as before.
Really?
Incest, adultery and witchcraft.
Trumped up?
Of course.
Famous, wasn't it?
Anything for a son. And staying with the Tudors, in 1568, Queen Elizabeth I ordered the execution of Mary Queen of Scots. Another beheading.
Blimey, she didn't have much luck, did she?
No. And the Tudors have a thing for taking off heads.
And on that pleasant note, I think shall. Have we got any more?
Yeah, well, we've got one last one.
Oh, right, okay.
1873, on May the 20th, Levi Strauss invented Levi's.
We can just about see them. I wonder where you were going. Do it again now, quick. There they are. There's your Levi's. Right, thank you for that.
Flexible. But
I'm amazed you didn't come off your chair. Right, thank you, Tom.
Yes.
See you next week.
No problemo.
Time now to see what you've been saying to us. It's time for the Postbag. Now, Kerry Louise Alley has sent us a message and a request. She says, hello. Hello. We are two full-time mums from Solihull. 18 months ago, we started up our bridal website and blog called The Smarter Bride as a hobby. She says our website has grown so much over the past 6 months that we're now looking to turn it into a full-time business. That's why we've entered The Smarter Bride into Sir Richard Branson's VOOM 2016 competition, where we're hoping we will get through the individual rounds to the final and pitch our business to Richard Branson himself, along with a panel of judges. Now, the winners and runners-up, she says, will then receive not only a cash investment, but also help and mentoring from Richard and the Virgin team. So she says in order for us to get through to the second round of the competition, we need to get our votes on our video pitch that's uploaded to the VOOM website. Our challenge in this round is to get with the in the top 80 businesses of our category by gaining votes and coming up with a campaign plan to gain votes and support from our local community. She says we'd love to the opportunity to be interviewed regarding the competition. Well, we'll see what we can do about that. She also says we've got until the 23rd of May to get as many votes as possible. So if you're interested in voting for that, have a look what it's all about. At this website, it's vmbvoom.com/pitches/the-smarter-bride. Basically, vmbvoom.com, and look up The Smarter Bride. Okay? Now, recently we showed a programme called Disability, Life of an Athlete, and it inspired Michael Doyle to get in touch. Now, he said, "Yesterday I watched Big Centre and the programme regarding disability. I found the programme really interesting and realistic in relation to people's sufferings." Now, Michael went on to include an article that he'd written regarding the death of a friend of his who had encountered many difficulties during his life because of the fact that he was deaf. Now, Michael had known his friend Ken since 1960 when they met and worked at a leather factory in Walsall. Now, as I said, the programme that Michael enjoyed was called Disability, Life as an Athlete, and in it we meet the disabled athletes taking part in the world of competitive bodybuilding. Now, you might be interested to know that we'll be showing it again here on Big Centre on Spring Bank Holiday Monday, 30th of May at 8:30 in the evening. Plus there'll be a couple of repeats on Tuesday the 31st of May at 2 p.m. and again at 5:30. Thanks for that, Michael. Glad to know you enjoyed the programme and that it struck a chord with you. Now, if you've been watching Big Centre for a while, you might just know that I'm a bit of a fan of Tiswas. I produced those repeats which we showed during last year. Well, the quest to inject a little Tiswas into Big Centre every so often continued this week when Des welcomed Ian Sludge Lees into the Life Story studio. Now, Sludge comes from Cannock and was a semi-regular on Tiswas, telling jokes and showing off his trademark licorice all sorts jacket. Well, when we publicised the fact that he'd been in, Julie Baldwin got in touch to say, tenuous link, "Ian and I used to go to the same dentist in Cannock." Lol. Thanks, Julie. How nice. Now, if you want to know when Sludge's Life Stories programme goes out, keep an eye on the website and our Facebook page. And if I find out in time, then I'll let you know as well. Now, I've got a couple of other Tiswas-related local life stories ideas. So as ever, watch this space. You never know what you might find. Some tweets now, and Paul Moxon was a guest on Carl Jones's The Big Picture, and he says, "A big thank you to all at Big Centre and to Carl for having me in today. It was great fun. #film, #filmmaking. Nice to have you here, Paul." Romulus FC, they said, "Great coverage on the ROMs from Big Centre Sport. Great night and some great interviews. A massive thank you from us all." Now, if you want to know what that was all about, watch out for non-league and grassroots for more each week. It's all about non-league football in this area. So there you have it. That's what we found in the Big Centre Postbag for this week. And if you'd like to get in touch with us then on social media, we are at Big Centre TV. And you can find us under that name on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Plus, of course, you can email us, postbag@bigcentre.tv. And don't forget, we do have a couple of other Twitter feeds that you can keep in touch with as well. For sport, it's at Big Centre Sport. For news, it's at Big Centre News. And for What's On, it's at BC_What's On. Simple. Or if you just want to write to us, then the address for anything at all is Big Centre, 14A Low Hall Lane, Walsall, WS1 1RL. Now, earlier this week we heard of the sad death of one of the pioneers of television. Not in this country, but the other side of the world. However, there is a very definite Midlands connection, as Mike Prince tells us. But first, recognise this.
Here at Big Centre TV, we were saddened to learn of the death of Reg Grundy, one of the founding fathers of Australian television, and a man who had more than a passing association with Birmingham and the Midlands. Reg began his career as a sports commentator on radio. When television arrived down under, Reg made the transition to this new medium, and with his new show, Wheel of Fortune. Later, moving behind the camera, Reg would go on to produce over 80 game and quiz shows in Australia, including Sale of the Century, Blankety Blanks, with the S as it was called down in Australia, Perfect Match, and The Price is Right. Reg was determined to get into television drama production, and he needed the very best talent in order to fulfil this ambition. And he wanted at least one daily serial or soap opera on every television network in Australia, a very ambitious plan. Now, here's where the Birmingham connection comes in. He'd heard of the success of Crossroads in Birmingham and travelled to the UK to spend a week observing how the serial was produced. He made several return visits to Brum in order to persuade the Australian-born Crossroads producer Reg Watson and series director Alan Coleman, who died last year actually, to move down under in order to head up his fledgling drama department. And I knew both Reg Watson and Alan Coleman when I was a young programme researcher at ATV in the late 60s. The first major hit serial which Reg Grundy had was The Young Doctors, a programme which followed the lives and loves of the staff and patients of the Albert Memorial Hospital. The programme was a ratings hit in Australia and was the first Grundy soap to sell internationally, with Central Television here in the Midlands being the first British broadcaster to screen it. The Young Doctors ended up selling all over the world and broke the record as Australia's longest-running drama serial at the time. The hits kept on coming, and Midlands viewers were soon enjoying Sons and Daughters, which followed the over-the-top exploits sometimes of the rich Hamilton family in Sydney and the working-class Palmers in Melbourne. Central Television had another hit on their hands when they acquired Prisoner Cell Block H, where the tough inmates of the Wentworth Detention Centre were ruled over by sadistic screws such as Joan the Freak Ferguson. When the programme ended, fans picketed the Central Studios demanding a repeat run, and I well remember the scrum outside the Bridge Street entrance of Central TV in Birmingham when I was trying to go on duty as an announcer. This popularity encouraged Central bosses to become co-production partners with Reg Grundy in the series Dangerous Women, a programme which was filmed in America about female inmates being released from jail and attempting to rebuild their lives in a halfway house. Reg Grundy's greatest drama success came with the serial Neighbours, a programme devised by Reg Watson. For over 30 years, the lives and the residents of Ramsay Street have enthralled viewers all over the world, and it continues to be a ratings winner for Channel 5 here in the UK to this day. The theatrical agent Darren Gray says, Reg Grundy was a true gentleman and was very kind to me. He was a very generous man who created so many opportunities for cast and crew members all over the world. He genuinely cared about the people who worked for him and gave pleasure to television viewers everywhere with a big fan base for his shows here in the Midlands. He was a true pioneer of the television industry, and I doubt that we'll see his like again. More's the pity. One of the greatest television producers ever to work in our industry has left us, but his legacy will live on through the remarkable archive of programming which he has left behind and which still has a firm following here in the UK as well as his native Australia. Reg was awarded both the Order of the British Empire and the Order of Australia and published his autobiography titled Reg Grundy in 2010. He died on the 8th of May at his home in Bermuda at the age of 92. His wife and actress and author Joy Chambers was by his side, as she always was. Joy was always on hand to support him. Theirs was truly a perfect match.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks also to Darren Gray, who, as we heard, knew Reg Grundy and represented a number of performers in the Grundy programmes. And that's your Big Magazine for Sunday. Remember, you can catch the Big Magazine on Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m, and we're back with more on Sundays also at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Now, during the week, Big News is with you at 8 until 9 in the morning, and again from 10 till 11. Big News continues throughout the afternoon and evening at 1, 6 and 9, with updates throughout the day. So I do hope you can join us then. From the whole team here, thank you for watching this weekend, and I'll see you later. Try a bit.